This is our 2004 Vanguard. This is a trailer that I did a bunch of work on last year. It was basically a good trailer to start with, but I made it a little more modern inside because it was a very dated interior, and then I did a bunch of add-ons to make it so we could use it the way we want. We wanted to go camping where there are no services and maybe not even a campground. So we took our inaugural trip at the end of September, and the one thing that I didn't figure on was at the end of September there's less daylight to charge your batteries with on the solar panels, and your furnace is going to be running a lot more. So I had 200 watts of solar and 200 amp hours of lithium battery. I brought it back last year. I took off the older 100-watt panel and I put on a new 200-watt panel, give me 300 watts of power, and I've got another 100 amp hour battery. So lithium batteries are not supposed to be stored below 20 degrees, minus 20 Celsius, which is about -4 Fahrenheit. And so they're stored inside, and I'm going to be putting those in today. As you can see, I'm getting excited because the snow is starting to disappear. It might be a little early to get this ready, but you never know. We might just decide to take a nice trip if the weather turns nice and go out for a couple days. So we're going to put the batteries in and make sure everything I did last fall was good, because I didn't test that system after I put it on. So I've unpacked the new battery. The other ones are, I got them ready to go, but this comes with the battery. What this is it plugs into one of these. One of them's for plugging the supply in, and then if you got other batteries down the line, you would plug them in here. And what this is basically it's your battery switch for turning it on and off. I won't need that because I've got a battery monitor mounted, installed in this trailer, and it turns the batteries on and off as well as monitoring the trailer. So we'll just keep that as a spare because you never know when you might need it. I thought it would be an absolutely awesome idea to put the inverter and the batteries and everything in here, because that's just wasted space way back there. It is awesome once everything's in there. It's just getting everything in there. So if you're planning out a system, make sure things are accessible, because I kind of regret making it so, shall we say, out of the way. On this system, I've got 4-aught battery cables. That was what was recommended by the inverter manufacturer. So it's a good thing the batteries come with 2 lengths of bolts, because with the short one here, I would not be able to get them done up with them stacked like they are there. And they're so easy to work with in a tight space. Okay, we got 300 amp hours capacity of battery. Putting in 9.4 amps right now at 13.3 volts. Or that's what's in the batteries. 72.8% state of charge, so they're just about 3/4 full. And back to the 300 amp hours. And yeah, I've just got to, everything's connected. I've just got to tidy it up a bit. That's, I wanted to make sure everything was working before I tied it down. I'm up on the roof of the Vanguard. The solar panels don't have a lot of dirt on them. You can kind of see that. And you can see there's no shadows anywhere, so it's fairly overcast. But I just checked. There's 7.1 amps going into the batteries. We'll give these a cleaning and see if it makes any difference. Well, 7.5 amps. Let's get back to there. Oops, went past it. So it was 7.6 there. Yeah, well, wasn't a lot of dirt, but made a little difference. So there you have it. The batteries are installed. They're tied down. The trailer sitting in is screwed down to the floor, and then there's a strap holding the batteries into there. You can see here, it doesn't completely protect the terminals, but I added some cut off pieces of hose just to help protect if anything bumped against there, but we don't put anything in this cupboard. So the batteries, up there I've got a breaker shut off switch for the batteries to the trailer. That's a switch for the solar panel. If you don't shut off your solar panel before you shut off your batteries, you'll burn out your solar charge controller, which is right up there. And another benefit besides ease of access, if you put the whole system in a better spot, was it'd be a lot easier to tidy up that wiring. That's, quite frankly, I'm not really proud of that mess of macrame wires there, but I was too far committed by the time I realized that I should have picked a better spot. But it works. It's just hassle to put in and out. So that is getting the Vanguard ready for spring as far as electrical is concerned. So when I originally showed you the state of charge at 72 and change there, that was when I just put everything in but hadn't tied it down. I took a break for lunch, tied everything down, and you can see now we're at 77.5 state of charge on 300 amp hours battery. That was like an hour and a half ago. It's coming along pretty good considering the overcast day it is. So pretty happy with the new panel. It's making a big difference. The panel I took off here was 25 years old, so it probably wasn't as efficient as it was originally when it was new, because they do lose some efficiencies. It was, so I'm guessing it was originally a 100 watt panel. It's probably producing about 80. So this is, I think this is going to work just fine. Well, thanks for hanging out with me while I was hooking up my lithium batteries and checking my system on the solar. I will, in the future, do a full tour of this Vanguard. I'm overall pretty happy with what we did with it, both cosmetically and functionally. There's quite a few things I did. I spent, not this winter we're in finishing up right now, but the previous winter I spent a good chunk of it working on this trailer, and just the location of the batteries and so forth. Here's some irony for you. That compartment right there, everything would have fit in there beautifully. Think of the access I would have had. I just didn't want to give up the storage space, but if I was doing it again, knowing what I know, that's where everything would be. So thanks for hanging out with me, and we'll see you when we give you the big tour on this one. Back to the Shasta.